Problem number 2, HMMT February Combinatorics Round, problem number 2. Compute the number of ways to tile a 3x5 rectangle. Let's draw that. So a 3x5 rectangle looks like this. And we need to tile it with a 1x1, 1x2, 1x3, 1x4, and 1x5 tile, where we can rotate them 90 degrees, and tilings that differ by rotation or reflection are considered distinct. This looks like a sort of like you just find all possibilities type of question, and the way we're going to do this is by casework, right? The reason is that, well, we have, right, a couple ways to put in that 1x5 tile, and the reason I'm picking the 1x5 tile is there's the fewest number of ways to put that 1x5 tile into the 3x5, right? We're going to restrict the cases as much as possible, so we only have to work through 3 cases. Notice that those 3 cases are, well, you can put the 1x5 tile on the top, right? You can also put it in the middle, right? That middle row of that 3x5 rectangle, or you can put it on the bottom. So we're going to start by looking at the top case, and notice that the bottom case is going to yield the same number of possibilities due to symmetry, right? So in the top case, what do you have left? Well, you have a 2x5 grid, a rectangle, to fill in with a 1x4, 1x3, 1x2, and a 1x1. And once again, we're going to fill in the 1x4 because it's the most restrictive. There are 4 possible spots for that 1x4, and notice that they're all symmetric, right? In this 2x5 grid, it doesn't matter which one of these 4. You could have picked the 1x4 in the upper left, or the one in the upper right, right? If you picked this one instead, on the right, the bottom left or the bottom right. Notice that we can't have a vertical 4x1, so therefore, right, we can say that in this case there's 4 times the number of ways to tile these remaining 5 squares, right, or 6 squares. And this, which 6 squares am I talking about? It's these ones over here, right? After we put in this 4x1. So now it's 4 times the number of ways to do this. Well, notice that when we look at this, right, it's just six rectangles, right? 6 squares that we need to fill in with 1, 2, and 3. Well, notice that, well, how many ways are there now to put the 1x3 tile? Well, we can put it in these 3, which leaves these 3 cells, right, on the right, which can be filled in 2 ways. So there are 2 ways if we put 3x1 in the bottom left. If we put it in these 3 cells, right, well, then we have a 1x1 on the left and a 1x2 on the right. So there's no more things we have to determine for one more case. And finally, if we put it in the final 3 squares of the final row, then that gives us, again, we have to put the 1x1 up here and the 1x2 up here or down here for a total of 1. So we can see that there are 4 total ways for us to fill in the remainder of the grid, for a total of 4 times 4, 16 total ways we can tile this rectangle, given that the 5x1 is on the very top, right? And similarly, we can say that the bottom case is also 16. Now let's take a look at what happens when we put the 5x1 rectangle in the middle. So let's consider a new rectangle here, where we put the 5x1 in the middle as follows, right? Just like this. So this leaves 2 1x5 rectangles, one on the top and one on the bottom, where we have to place 1, 2, 3, and 4 length in there, right, in each of the 1x5s. Well, notice that if you put a 4 in the bottom, then you have to put the 1 with it, right, because 4 plus 1 equals 5. And similarly, we need to put the 2 and 3 together because they add up to 5. So in some order, right, we need to have the 2 and the 3, right, and the 4 and the 1. Notice that there are 2 ways to decide which pair goes on top, right, either 2, 3, or 4, 1, in no particular order, times 2, because there are 2 ways to reorder the 2 and 3, So ordering 2 and 3. And then finally, there are 2 ways to order 4 and 1. For a total of 8 different configurations where we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in some order like this, right? And we can see that this gives us 8 possibilities for the case where the 5 by 1 is in the middle. And if we just add up all those cases, well, 16 plus 8 will equal a total of 40.